everyone, it's Maki here. Has the movie Gundam Seed Freedom been released in your area? It seems that the movie is gradually being released in countries outside of Japan. Today, I'm going to talk about content that contains spoilers for the movie. If you want to watch the movie without any prior information, I'd recommend skipping this program. It has been more than a month since the movie's release in Japanese theaters, and the number of screenings is gradually decreasing. If you're planning a trip to Japan, it would be wise to carefully check the schedule of the theater you plan to visit. While the number of screenings is decreasing, the box office results are being updated successfully. The number of tickets sold has exceeded 2.3 million. The box office has exceeded 38.8 billion yen. The highest income for the Gundam series in the past was 2.3 billion yen. It may be possible to reach twice that amount. Badges with the original character designs and pens with the emblems of the appearing organizations have also been introduced as admission privileges. One gets the impression that these were rushed into production due to the unexpectedly high number of participants. You can feel the excitement of wanting to promote the event together with the fans. This time, we are going to extract and examine the content related to the movie from the stage greetings held at Japanese theaters. After the great success of the movie, there were greetings from director Mitsuo Fukuda and the cast. Hit the subscribe button and analyze the Gundam series with me. In the Gundam Seed series, Agnes, the captain of the Archangel, is quite popular. There was a scene where the battleship shook violently and how sexy reaction became a topic of discussion among fans. Mr. Fukuda commented on this. In the movie, there was no praise to show Agnes in a sexy scene. Instead, Laos was shown in a sexy pilot suit. This pilot suit was designed by Mr. Hisashi Hiroi, who is a central figure in the Seed series design team. When Mr. Hiroi submits designs, he usually presents several ideas. However, it appears that he submitted only one design for the Laos pilot suit. It was a pilot suit created with immense confidence. Also, when Laos climbs into the cockpit of the mighty Strike Freedom, several ideas were suggested for how this should be done. One of these ideas was to prepare a passage inside the mighty Strike Freedom. Such a presentation has appeared in old Japanese robot anime, such as Gundam, which Mr. Fukuda is currently remaking. There are passages inside the robot, and the pilot moves while sitting in a chair. In the movie, the idea of Laos entering the cockpit from space through the cockpit hatch was adopted. It's a very impressive scene, where Mighty Strike Freedom blocks enemy beams in space, with Laos near the head part. It shows scenes where beams and missiles are blocked by a barrier, and it also blocks heat and shock waves. Also, Soichiro Hoshi, the voice of Kira, and Akira Ishida, the voice of Athran, get along very well. Because of this, there was a funny episode after the scene where Athran hits Kira and scolds her. It's the scene where Athran says to Kira, "Let's go together." The first time this line was recorded, Mr. Ishida pronounced it with a very sweet and gentle tone. But the director rejected it, saying, "That's not the tone you use when talking to a lover." Then he was instructed to remember what Kira did to you in the past, recalling the time when Kira and Athran fought. That's how the audio for the movie was recorded. It's not that they don't get along, but there's a belief in that short line that if the other one strays from the path, they will seriously confront each other. Mr. Fukuda also talked about the past of Seed. It's about how Fray and Kira deepen their relationship in Seed. Kira and Fray spend the night together. Another idea was Kira inflicts a wound on Fray's face. It's hard to imagine what kind of development that would have led to no further details were given. Izakju gets a scar on his face and starts to target the Stray Gundam as his hated enemy. Fray Oster was also mentioned as a possible pilot for the Strike Rouge. Perhaps Fray, with a scar on his face, could have piloted the Strike Rouge and become Kiro's enemy. There was also talk of Agnes. Previously, I mentioned on my show that Agnes was originally supposed to die and end the story. Mr. Fukuda talked about how Agnes ended up surviving. Originally, Ms. Kuwashima, the voice actress, was asked to play a character who would leave the story. And then the battle between Athran and Shura influenced things. In the beginning, there were no scenes where Athran imagines Kagali's sexy appearance or where Kagali does the remote control. And Agnes appears in a way that interrupts the one-on-one duel between Athran and Shura. Shura, annoyed at having his serious fight interrupted, shoots Agnes down. Seeing this, Athran becomes furious and was supposed to defeat Shura. However, this ending was changed because it made Athran look too cool. Agnes was also supposed to take part in the fight between Ophi and Kira. Agnes tries to attack the proud defender. She tries to attack her romantic rival Lars. But Luna Maria stops her attack. Then, with her mobile suit damaged, Agnes seeks Shura's help. As mentioned earlier, Shura considers duels sacred and takes them seriously. Shura gets very angry when his serious fight is interrupted. By the way, you might come across a program that tells a slightly different story. It seems that Mr. Fukuda mispronounced Ophi for sure in a stage greeting. This was corrected by Mr. Fukuda on X. If you've heard that Agnes asked Ophi for help, resulting in Ophi shooting her down, that information predates Mr. Fukuda's correction. Shooting down Agnes was supposed to be Shura's role. If this development had been adopted, Agnes would have become a character who caused a lot of trouble in the final battle. The release of mobile suit information is always exciting. The release of the setting material collection is still up in the air. Many are curious about the Mighty Strike Freedom settings. Many people are also interested in the Disruptor, a head-mounted ray gun. In the movie scene where it was used, it was fired at 80% power. The destructive power, capable of cutting both the Space Fortress Messiah and the battleship hidden behind it in half, was astounding. It is often said that it resembles the head-mounted beam cannon of the Double Zeta Gundam. It reminded me of Gunbuster, a robot from the Japanese anime Aim for the Top, Gunbuster. This work is a masterpiece that influenced many robot anime, including Gundam and Evangelion. The Buster beam used by Gunbuster is a beam fired from the forehead. It possesses a thin and powerful destructive force capable of cutting giant space monsters in half. It's very interesting to see how Kiro and Lars act like they knew about the Disruptor's existence. Kiro did not know that the Strike Freedom had been repaired. However, at the beginning of the movie, the Proud Defender was being built under the command of Kiro and Albert. Was it intended for use with the Rising Freedom? Actually, there are other possibilities. The Proud Defender is equipped with a device that can be controlled by mental resonance. It's possible that the mighty strike Freedom transmitted data directly to Kiro's mind. In past Gundam series, Gundams equipped with such systems have appeared. Gundam Formula 91 suggests the use of the Vesper, a large beam cannon, to its newbie pilot, Seabook. In addition, the mobile fighters in G Gundam are equipped with systems that transmit data directly to the pilot's brain. What kind of settings does the mighty strike Freedom have? Let's find out! See you in the next episode!